Ladies and gentlemen, the battle has begun. The war is on. The DOJ has filed a suit. DOJ sues Google. Showdown with gatekeeper to the internet over claims it uses its power unfairly to preserve a monopoly and shut out any search engine competitors. My friends, this channel is blacklisted on Google. I've been talking about it quite a bit. I normally don't, but it's important. An election is coming up. Google is doing everything in its power to make sure you can't hear stories like this, stories from me. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and share this. This is more important than maybe anything else we have seen in our lifetimes. Google is the most powerful company on the planet. They control what you think. They control what you see. They control what you know. And they are using that power to silence channels like mine. And it's a bit paradoxical, to be fair. It's a bit ironic. But they're trying to manipulate. And they are actively manipulating. I will point out the irony of YouTube allowing me to speak, and many others, but then actively trying to silence our channels. You see, Google could probably just ban me, right? But for their politics, they can't. Google wants the power to manipulate. They're being sued by the DOJ. We'll see what happens. Google doesn't allow you to search for this channel, but YouTube, which is owned by Google, allows me to upload these videos. Recently, YouTube purged a bunch of channels. Not all of them were conspiracy channels. That was a lie. They haven't banned me, probably because I have grown too quickly for them to deal with, and I have mainstream accolades. It would probably create some kind of issue if they outright just banned my channels. So what do? If they banned me outright, it would create a press storm questioning the validity of their censorship. I don't swear. I follow the rules. I use certified NewsGuard sources. Very on the level. Very, tepid, to say the least. So they can't just outright ban me. And as I grow bigger, it becomes harder and harder. They can do everything in their power, though, to make sure people don't hear what I have to say. And so although my channels have grown and I've seen great success, it's in spite of what Google is trying to do to my channels. Google it. Take the title of this video, put it in Google. It won't come up. A lot of people don't understand. They say, I found your channel. No, you found Timcast IRL, a new channel that they didn't put on the blacklist. Yet, this channel's not there. I don't know if AntiTrust is the answer. I don't. But I'll tell you what's funny. What if I were to tell you that the attorneys general who are going after Google were all Republican? Would you believe me? Take a look at this from Bobby Allen. Bobby Allen on Twitter is a tech reporter for NPR. Just filed DOJ and 11 attorney generals in antitrust suit. Google has used anti-competitive tactics to maintain and extend its monopolies in the markets for general search services, search advertising, and general search text advertising, the cornerstones of its empire. Bobby says, here's the full complaint. David Clinch, a journalist at Storyful, says, are all those state attorney generals Republicans? Are any other states involved at this point? All Republican AGs. The Democrats have forsaken us. Antifa is defending the billionaires. Bernie Sanders is telling you to vote for the candidate backed by Wall Street. And the Democrats are saying, but my private business, just enforcing its terms of service. I refuse to live under the boot of billionaires, be it George Soros or Mackenzie Bezos. They should not have the ability to manipulate politics. These companies should be regulated. I don't care about left, right, up, down, whatever. I will tell you this right now. Regulate them and get money out of politics. I stay true to my principles. Why? Because they're real. I've done research. I've read the news. I have opinions about these things. I don't just say things to pander to anybody. I believe it is a problem when Mackenzie Bezos, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, spends billions of dollars on critical race theory and critical gender theory. I don't want those billionaires manipulating my elections. Many people on the right have made a free speech argument. The libertarians over at Reason say it's free speech. We can regulate things. We can prevent the commons from being destroyed. I understand the argument about if you have the money, you can spend it as you see fit, and you can fund these PACs. I don't want to live in a country where the politics are dictated to me by the wealthy. If you're rich and you can inspire confidence, well, then by all means. I understand there should be some level of advantage for those who work hard. Right now, The maximum you can give to a politician is $2,800 per cycle. So with the primary and with the general, it's something like $5,600. Okay. That means rich people have a massive advantage. Regular people don't. That already is ingrained in the system. The average person can't afford to give a max contribution to anybody. I think that's acceptable. I do. If you're rich, if you're super rich, you know what you can do? You can give $2,800 to every politician you want. That's way more than the average person could ever do. But right now, what the rich are doing is they're giving millions to political action committees that can run commercials promoting the candidate, thus promote, and they say it's a free speech issue. I agree it is. But I also believe that there are certain things we have to do, and there have to be some restrictions on even speech. I know. I am not an absolutist on free speech. I fear what happens when the likes of George Soros uses his money to fund all of these things, when Mackenzie Bezos uses her money to fund all these things, when the Mercers, when the Koch brothers do this, and they shut us out. Worse still is when Google does the same thing. I've always been fairly liberal in the truest sense, in the classical American sense, not the classical philosophical sense. And I think we can't allow these people this monopolistic power. Now, conservatives, not all of them, but some of them, and many libertarians disagree. And you know what? I say to them, fine, so be it. I was having a conversation with a conservative a year or two ago in Milwaukee who said that we shouldn't intervene and we should let private companies do what they want. And I said, no, I disagree. In certain areas, yes. The problem with this is that our elections are being subverted. Project Veritas has exposed this. And you know what, libertarians and conservatives that don't agree with the regulation? Your ideology will cease to exist. If that's what you want, then so be it. My ideology, for the most part, some of it will remain, but then ultimately will cease to exist as well because no one has my back in stopping Google. But I tell you this right now. The Democrats have sold us out. It's the Republicans who are filing suit. It's Trump's DOJ. If Joe Biden wins, you will live under the heel of Google and Facebook and Twitter. Massive multinational corporations that don't care what you think. They want to manipulate what you think. They will control what you think. They will send you the right advertisement at the right time. They will send you the right video at the right time. And I tell you this right now. Your political opinions likely being shaped by an algorithm. The things you see, the things you hear, the things you believe. It's already happening. We need to stop this before it's too late, and it may be too late. The last remnants of some kind of resistance to the machine taking over, these Republican AGs and the DOJ. If Trump loses, it's lost. Joe Biden won't go up against Google. He absolutely won't. They'll own him. They will control him. Here's what they say. The DOJ is prepping a lawsuit that accuses Google of shutting out competitors unfairly. Because Google is a preferred advertising platform among businesses, it makes billions in revenue. Google controls 90% of the world's searches. It then uses that money to boost its presence on smartphones, making deals with Apple and Android to ensure it is the pre-installed search engine. The DOJ will allege in its lawsuit the practice is unfair. Google, Facebook, and Twitter have all come under increased scrutiny under Trump's administration. They have most recently been accused of using their powers to promote left-wing political agendas, and that is a fact. Right now on Facebook, the top posts typically come from the Daily Wire, Fox News, Dan Bongino, and right-wing sources. That is in spite of Google censorship. What people don't understand is that when you see the Daily Wire succeeding, it's because Ben Shapiro plays it safe. He's got relatively mainstream conservative political opinions. Facebook won't ban that, but they will ban others. They will ban Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson, Laura Loomer. And that's the problem. We cannot allow Facebook to define what is socially acceptable, and they are. What is acceptable to us is our decision. So I'll tell you what. I think we should get rid of the algorithms. Recommendation algorithms have benefited me in many ways. Get rid of them. I believe these companies are a serious detriment, and we should absolutely regulate them. I don't know what that means. It may mean that a meritocracy would return and only the best content would emerge. The problem with this is that there are many people who make shock content, and when YouTube wasn't algorithmic, The content that got the most plays was just thumbnails of women in bikinis. So the rules started to come about where they said, okay, if the thumbnail is misleading, we can ban you. They started to implement rule changes and algorithm changes to prevent things like this. I don't have all the solutions. I can tell you this right now, though. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google, etc., wanting to do the right thing, have created a rule set that benefits one political ideology over the other and is leading us to our own destruction. The Republicans are the only ones who are fighting back against it. Maybe we'll lose, and maybe the technology itself is causing the problem. I don't know. If we do nothing, however, we've lost. If we sit back, then we've lost. We need to do something, and I think regulation is the right move. But to what end, I don't know. I'm not convinced antitrust would solve the problem. I'll leave it there. Next segment will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time.